The other video got cut off, so I'm going to continue on the bottom of Pedaled Amud base, and Pedaled Amud Aleph, and we'll do Pedaled Amud base in this video mainly. And I'm going to try doing a bit of in a different style and doing it more with just saying the Gemara from the outside without the words inside for a bit. Old Torah. So there was an ox that chewed a hand of a child. He came in front of Rava and said, "What's the din?" So Rava said, "Go estimate him like a slave. How much he's worth before the hand chewed off, without the hand chewed off." So they told him, "How is it so that you do so? Didn't you say, Rava, that anything that you need to estimate the value of it, the way you value it is by going to a slave and market and seeing how much is worth before and how much is worth after the damage? We don't paskin in Bovel, because in Bovel was a type of Yerida. They left Eretz Yisrael and they didn't have smicha anymore, so it wasn't, the Bezdin wasn't as choshev. And I imagine also probably the Goysha law over there was probably more influential, and they probably, some civil laws, they followed the non-Jewish law, but that's already my extra thing. But in Bovel, there's no smicha, and lots of things we don't paskin in Bovel. So you, Rava, say that anything that you have to estimate it like a slave, we don't paskin in Bovel, we don't sue someone and say he needs to pay that. So Rava told them, "Yeah, right, you don't, Bezdin won't paskin. But if the guy, the Nizak, grabs, he deserves the money. Just we don't paskin it. So if he grabs the money, he could grab all of the money and he could keep it. But so then we need to know how much it's worth, because he can't keep all the money, because if the damage is £1,000 or $1,000, you can't keep 10,000. So therefore we go and estimate him." But said the Gemara, Rava l'tamei, and this fits in with Rava, that we could see that Rava holds that when a person gets damaged from an animal, we don't paskin in Bovel. Doma Rava says that an ox caused damage to an ox, or an ox got damaged by a person. That means any case where the ox got damaged, if it's by another person, or by another ox, or by a person, the din is, in Bezdin we paskin in Bovel even on such cases. But damage that a person gets, doesn't matter if it's from an ox, it doesn't matter if it's from a person. The din is we don't paskin in Bovel, because how do we estimate a person? How do we know how much to pay the nezek of a person? You have to put him like a slave, ka'avda. So that we don't do in Bovel. So the Gemara wants to understand what's the difference. Why this yes and this not? The Gemara asks, what's the difference that these you say you do paskin in Bovel, these you don't? Which ones, the ones you don't? They said a person got damaged, doesn't matter if by a person or by an animal, that we don't do in Bovel. Why not? Because it said in the Pasuk Eloikim that you need to paskin such a thing, you need Eloikim. Eloikim means a dayanim, and it means smicha. And in Bovel we don't have that. But also by a shor getting damaged, also over there it says Eloikim, you need a proper bezdin. So why that we do? So what's pshat? How could you really do without smuchim in Bovel a mishpat when a shor gets nizak? Because we do the shlichus. The bezdin in Bovel is doing the shlichus of the bezdin in Eretz Yisrael, who's the smuchim. So also for this, when a person gets damaged, why shouldn't the bezdin in Bovel do the shlichus and put the person in the market and see how much he's worth? Like Oidois and Avois, we have, like in Bovel, if someone comes to Bezdin Bovel and says, "Oh, someone owes me money," they'll paskin for him. Or if someone agrees that he owes money in front of Aiden, he could go to Bezdin and paskin for him. So how are you need Bezdin? No, we're doing the shlichus of the old Bezdin, of the one who was smuchim. So also for this, what's the difference? Said the Gemara, the difference is that when do we do the shlichus in something that we know? In something that we know its value. But here we don't know the value. You need to go to the market and see how much this Eved is worth. So that's, this person as if he's an Eved. So the Gemara also, when a shor gets damaged, we don't know the price, you need to estimate it. But what do? You go to the market and you see how much it's worth with the damage, without the damage. So also a person who gets damaged, why is it different? Who gets a nezek done to him, why can't you estimate him as a slave as well and find out how much it is? And even more so, Tashlumei Kefel, a Ganev who steals and he has to pay double. And Abar v'chamisha, if he stole a sheep or a cow and he sold it or slaughtered it, that's a fixed price. You don't even have to go to the market. He said it depends if you need to go to the market or not to find out. It depends if it's a fixed thing. That's fixed. 4 times the price of the gneva. 5 times price of the gneva. Double. Let's the Beis Din and Bovel do the job and paskin, and we know that they don't do it. Said more about that. That's no shaila, because mamoina, we do the shlichus only about mominus. If you cause damage, the damage you paid, but not by knosses. This is double is a knas, it's extra. 4, 5 is a knas, and now we don't paskin at all. Says the Gemara, okay, but when a man gets hurt by another man, it's also mominus. Why don't we paskin? Says the Gemara. Depends on shchichus. Depends how common this type of court case is. Something that's more common will paskin, and something that's less common won't paskin. So therefore, a man harming another man, it's not often. We don't paskin about that in Bovel. Says the Gemara. What do you mean? I'm going to read Lefi the Bach. I'm going to explain the Gemara. That boishes, embarrassment, that's common, and we know even that we don't do in Bovel. And why don't we do it in Bovel? It's very common for someone to embarrass someone, so you should get paid for it. So the Gemara, no, yeah, on a chenami, yeah, boishes you do in Bovel, or a papa sued someone 400 zuz for boishes he caused in Bovel. So yeah, we have no problem. It depends only if it's shchiach or not, and boishes you also paskin in Bovel. Said the Gemara, but we don't paskin like our papa, we don't go like him. That Rav Chisda sent to Rav Nachman, and Rav Nachman sent him back and he told him, Chisda, why are you suing? You go over knas in Bovel? We don't go over knas in Bovel, and it's called a knas because there's no loss of money in boishes. For sure it's not knas, it's for the price of embarrassment, but there's no loss of money, and it's also considered like knas. So we could say you don't pass in boishes, and if it depends if it's shchiach or not, it's shchiach. So like more, no, the difference is as follows. To pass in Bovel, you need two conditions, also common and also a loss of money. But something that's common and doesn't have a loss of money, or something that's not common, and even if there's a loss of money, on that thing we don't pass in a Bovel. So the Gemara has a new way of explaining it very clear, and this is the end of the sugya of understanding the difference. So as follows: something that's common and the person lost money, Beis Din paskin in Bovel. Something that's not common, and even if it's a loss of money, it's not common. Sorry, even if it's common, if it's not a loss of money, it's a loss of money, even though that's not common, the din will be that we'll paskin it. Again, in Bovel, we paskin only something that's also common and also a person's losing money. And if it doesn't have those both categories, we won't paskin in Bovel. Therefore, if a person gets nizak by a person, even though that there is a loss of money, but it's not common, so we don't do it in Bovel because it's not common. Embarrassment, even though that's common, because there's no loss of money, we don't do it. And says the Gemara, an ox got damaged by another ox. Says the Gemara, an ox who damaged another ox, you go in bovel, but didn't Rava say that the ox that caused the damage, you don't go over bovel? Says the Gemara, what did Rava say they damaged? Who did he damage? Did he damage a person? If he damaged a person, what's the chiddush that a ox damaged a person? Even a person who damaged a person, you don't be going in bovel. For sure, ox damaging a person. Elo, it must be, it's someone that damaged the ox. And what's the din? You say, we're not going over that in bovel. So the Gemara, Amri, over there it's talking about a tam. Over here it's talking about muad. When are you going in bovel? When it's a muad. When are you not going in bovel? Where Rava said you're not going in bovel, it's talking about tam. First time. So the Gemara, how did that make any sense? Rava himself said there's no such a thing muad in bovel. So how could it be that when you are going it's talking about muad? There's no muad in bovel. So the Gemara, it's talking about when he became muad in Eretz Yisrael, because there is a Bezdin who paskin about such things, and then he came to bovel. So now he's a muad, and now he damaged, so Bezdin would be goiva. So the Gemara, but you said before that it's something that's not common, you don't do this. It's very uncommon, such an ox moved from Eretz Yisrael to bovel after he became muad. And he did, and something that's not common, you said that you don't paskin in bovel. So the Gemara new teretz. No, it didn't become muad in bovel. Rabbanon who was smuchim came to bovel and they made him muad, and then now they're not here. So now we paskin after he's a muad. It's common. We paskin. So the Gemara, even that's not common that they'll come up and smuchim and they'll paskin and make him a muad. So the Gemara, when did Rava say that you go in bovel? Doesn't mean muad, because muad is not common. He was talking about Chen and Regel, when an ox ate or stepped on something, and that's muad mitchilosom, that's common, and it's muad straight away. So that's why they be goiva in bovel. And when Rava said you don't paskin in bovel, it means Karen, because Karen is not common until he becomes a muad, and muad you don't make him in bovel. So very good. We finished the sugya of understanding Rava's dinim in this parsha. Of when do Bezdin paskin in bovel, when in bovel did the Bezdin work and when didn't they work, and what dinim they did and what dinim they don't. Tsar, we learned in the Mishnah, pain. How do you pay pain? Kivo b'shapoid, if he hit him or burnt him with a metal piece or b'masma on a nail. Said the Gemara, in the Mishnah is mashma that you pay the pain even if there's no damage. It's not mashma. It says clear afilu there's no chabur. It said in the Mishnah, the v'chulo of the Mishnah, it says that you still have to pay tsar. Who is our Mishnah who holds that even without tsar you need to pay? Because it could be, we're going to see that the Shitto holds that only if there's tsar, only if there's nezek, only if there's damage, you need to pay tsar. For pain, you don't pay if there's no damage. If you caused pain with no damage, like in the Mishnah, you won't have to pay tsar, and the Mishnah says you do have to pay. So let's see, the Gemara says, you know who it is? It's Ben Azai. Why? Because we have a machloikis. The Tanya, Rebbe Oimer, Rebbe says, Kvio Ne'emar Tchilo. Let's read the pasuk a second. This more we're going to do inside it, because it's harder to understand outside. Let's see the pasuk based by me. Kvio tachas kvio. I burn under a burn. Petza tachas petza, wound under a wound. Chabur on a knock under a knock. So, Tanya, we learned. Rebbe Oimer, Kvio Ne'emar Tchilo. It says first in the pasuk Kvio. And obviously, if we look in the pasuk, that's correct. It says chabura first in the pasuk, and we'll see soon what it means. What are they arguing about? Rebbe Sova, Rebbe holds kvio delesbi chabura mashma. The pashtus, when it says kvio, it means a burn that has no wound. Kosav Rachmona Chabura. Then the Torah says also Chabura to tell you Ligluya lo de kvir de is be Chabura in Iloi loi, to tell you that Dafka kvir that has a Chabura, then you have to pay. But if there's no Chabura, you don't have to pay. And Ibn Azai holds kvir de is be Chabura mashma. When it says kvir, it means with nezek. Says the Torah says Chabura. Why does the Torah say Chabura that's nezek? Ligluya lo de kvir de les be Chabura. To tell you no, the kvir means without a Chabura, and even though you still need to pay. So it's not very clear in the Brisa what's Shittas Ben Azai and what Shittas Rabbonon. Rebbe. But the Gemara understands in this way that Ben Azai is the one who holds that you pay tsar pain even if there's no damage. Matkiflor, Papa, Asar, Papa, Shaila, Adraba, Ipcha Mistaber. It's more Mistaber in the Brisa. They mean in the Smachloikes Tanoim, in the opposite of Ben Azai, the one who holds that they don't need to pay if there's no nezek, if there's no damage, and Rebbe holds like the Mishnah that you do need to pay. How are we going to learn it like that? Rebbe holds kvir nemr tchila, so kvir deis be chabura mashma. It means pashtus that has a chabura. Kosa rachmona chabura. That's why it says chabura afterwards. Legluya lo de kvir de les be chabura, to tell you that kvir even without chabura, even without damage, without nezek, you still need to pay. And therefore that's like the Mishnah. It says first Chabura. Sava kvir de les be Chabura mashma. Pashtus means without damage. Why did the Torah write Chabura? If so, Ligluya lo, to tell you the kvir de is be Chabura in Iloi loi. You only need to pay if there's damage, if there's nezek. Without nezek, you don't need to pay. V'amaskona kaima. Lefi this pshat, lefi this matke, if it fits in better to the Brisa, because let's go back to the Brisa. Rebbe yoyme kvir nemer tchila. It means a maskona that kvir by itself you pay. It means on Chabura, you need Chabura to need to pay. If there's no nezek, you don't pay tsar. Inami, also I could explain you the kula alma kviyat bein de isbu Chabura bein de lesbu Chabura mashma. I could tell you that when it says a burn, it means with a Chabura, with damage, with nezek, without nezek. And the machloikes between them, between Rabbi and Rabbi Yochanan and Ben Azai, is Bichlal u'Pratam urchokim zeh mizeh kol miflige, the argue is. Let's see. Rebbe Sova ein donim, if a klal u'Prat are not next to each other, we don't darshan in a klal u'Prat. Ein donim oisa b'klal u'Prat. Ben Azai Sova donim oisa b'klal u'Prat. When there's a far away, normally klal u'Prat to klal, normally there's a klal, a few pratim in the middle and then a klal. But sometimes it's separated, the klal, a separation, and then a klal and a prat far away from each other. So the question is, do we darshan it or not? So Rebbe holds you don't, and Ben Azai holds you do. And what does that mean? What the klal u'Prat is far away from each other? Let's see Rashi. Rebbe Sova ein donim ochenami kvir nemer tchilo. It says kvir at the beginning. Klal the kvir mashma ben sheishim ochavor ben she'inim ochamor. It could be any type. Via v'chabura somichlei. If we would say straight away chabura next to that, next to kvir and chabura, would both be a klal u'Prat to klal dorshi chabura prat ve'in bechlal ela masha befrat yeshim chaburain enim chabura loy. You'd say chabura is a prat, and dafka with a chabura ela kein a prat, only like the pratim, and the pratim has you need to do nezek, so without nezek you won't pay. Now that it says petza b'ntayim, now that it says petza in between chabura and kvir, there's petza, so we don't darshan anymore klal u'Prat to klal. So elamai, it means bein chabura, bein without chabura. You need to pay kvir. You need to pay for the pain. You need to pay the tsar. But you don't have to pay the nezek in such a case. That's how Rebbe darshans. And Ben Azai say, no, you do darshan klal u'Prat to klal, even though that's far away from each other, and therefore you have a dafkal, the prat, who has chabura, and therefore you only have to pay pain if there is also damage to pay. If he doesn't darshan chabura in a klal u'Prat to klal, so what? Why does it say chabura? So the Gemara ledomim yiserim. That means the Rebbe, what's the question? If you Rebbe that holds when it says Kviyah, it means with a Chabura and without a Chabura. So, therefore, and it's not Klal U'Prat Klal, why did the Torah have to tell you about Chabura? Why are they telling you by you? Mishlema, if you the other Shitta, it's a Klal U'Prat Klal, and it's only coming to tell you only with Chabura. But if you Rebbe who doesn't darshan, why are they coming to tell you? Says the Gemara, L'dor Yisrael. If it wouldn't say Kviyah Tachas Kviyah, only Kviyah Tachas Kviyah, that we'd say that if it calls, doesn't matter if there is a Chabura, doesn't matter if there's damage or no damage, you won't pay both. You pay all for the damage, all for the pain, not for both. That's why the Torah has to say Chabura, that when you have both, you need to pay for both things, also for the damage and also for the tsar. Shkoyach.